Well, hello, Lilith in Gemini, and those with Lilith in the third house. How are you? Long awaited, and it has been. It's been looming over me, knowing that Lilith really came through when I was trying to do a Gemini general reading in the first place. So I've been wondering, whatever could happen in here. I don't know, Gemini, Lilith and Gemini. I just feel like tons of Gemini energy in this, and it is about the placement of having Lilith in your Gemini. I know some of you have Sun Gemini, Moon Gemini, but you have Lilith in it as well. So here we sit. Here we sit, and this is an interesting reading coming in here. There's been a lot leading up to it. Like, I haven't felt energetically like I was ready to do another Lilith, because it does take a lot of energy. It really does. It's really powerful. It takes a lot of energy. And it's funny, I made it this day. I thought, okay, I know I'm going to do Lilith and Gemini. I'm going to try to do Lilith and Cancer as well. I don't know if it'll happen. We'll see how this goes. But, so I've just been experiencing some interesting things, watching divine feminine energy work around the world right now, and stories and whatnot. And there's two that I'm being told to share here. And one is an interesting story about, and it's funny because this is about communication. And I really feel like this is why Lilith wants to come in here, because communication in third house Gemini. The Norwegian, this is an interesting story. The women's Norwegian beach handball team were each individually fined for refusing to wear bikinis to play in an international game. And the men don't have to. The men can wear like a Speedo, but they are allowed to wear like a shorts version of that. So that's what they had chosen to do for the Norwegian women's team. And they all got fined for it. It said, no, you have to show up in a bikini. They didn't. So they showed up in the shorts. And I thought, that's so disappointing. Like, if we want to sexualize, we need to sexualize across the board evenly and fairly, right? Sure, the women tune in to watch the guys in the little Speedos. If they want to wear shorts, though, and they don't want to be projected that way, that's their right, as it should be for feminine energy as well. So anyways, I was just reading that a rock star, Pink, who is, talk about a balance in masculine and feminine energy. I love that woman's energy. She's so powerful. She has stepped up and she's paid the fines for them. Like, don't you worry. You wear your shorts. You go do what you got to do. So it's an interesting message, too, about the feminine stepping up for the feminine, which is one of the most important things that does need to happen, because there are many women and feminine leaders, people in positions of power or wealth that can help those that are trying to, just do their thing and not feel suppressed. And then today, so before I came here, in the mornings I'm trying to keep my son busy. We go out and we do something, as there's no school, so it's a summer vacation. And we went to a fairly local bicycle skateboard park. And, kids on their skateboards, kids on their bikes, doing all these things. And there's a young man there. I don't know, he must have been, I want to say he was maybe 9 or 10. And totally like, half his head is shaved. The other half, the hair is kind of long to here. And he's on his BMX bike doing like crazy stuff in the skateboard area. Just like incredible. And he's got this little sister. I swear to God, she's like this. She's just like this little platinum blonde hair, like this little tiny thing. She's so small. She couldn't have been more than maybe 2.5. She's on this little tiny BMX bike. And he's walking beside her. And he was so gentle and so encouraging. And he was so, like, you could just tell the two of them were so close. It was just the most beautiful thing to witness. And she started squealing when he was about to take her down the ramp. And he pulled back and he said, no, it's okay. you know I have you. I'll always have you. I never let you fall. I thought this is such a beautiful thing to see. Obviously his teeny tiny little young sister. And so she go, okay. So he took her down and then he took her around and and I thought and I often see it in my kids. It's just what society has been building and projecting consistently and constantly, right? So him like really harnessing in this beautiful aspect of feminine energy, like being really caring and nurturing and comforting, and you know, like also trying to encourage her. And is she trying to be brave? I'm gonna go off the cliff. Okay, I'm gonna trust and go off the cliff. I just thought that's the beautiful balance. And I kind of was experiencing these things leading up to coming into Lilith and Gemini. And I thought, I feel like this is like what is the desire to happen here? Like these beautiful experiences like that, and to be able to continue to take that forward, you know, beyond childhood into adolescence and adulthood and old age into our graves. This was really beautiful. So I just wanted to share those because I'm really feeling like communication big time in this one. Maybe we won't get the Cancer today, but I did make some notes. So what I've been saying in all of them, there hasn't been many yet. Like I'm slowly weeding through these. Like I said, it's not like I'm sitting down doing the regular zodiacs. It's a lot more energy for me to bring this in. So one at a time, maybe every other day, however it goes. But because I am doing the zodiac that she sits in, as well as the house for you. So you may not be here. She may not sit in Gemini for you, but she may be in your third house. Like maybe she's in Capricorn, third house though. What's really interesting is that I feel such an overlap in both her sitting in Gemini and her sitting in the third house. If you have her in Gemini in the third house, these are going to be like big issues for you, I would feel like, or at least if they're not big, they're always showing up in your life. So Lilith and Gemini, communication problems, fear of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, possible fear of coming across as stupid, like people just not understanding you. It's a really big one with this. And I'm not really going to separate too much Lilith and Gemini and Lilith and third house, because like I say, there is such an overlap in the two energies. It's not even funny. An avid learner that you are, seeking knowledge and information. And I do feel like though also, because you have this quality, this property about you, it's often trying to understand the unknown, trying to understand things about yourself too. And often looking into avenues and information that a lot of people would not bother researching. You know, people just look at the surface on a lot of things without looking deeper into, well, why does that really occur? So that's why you can be misinterpreted often, because you probably have more knowledge than what most people are able to absorb. Also really good at body language, like reading people's body language and understanding it. And that's another way too, where you can be misinterpreted, or people will, I want to say that maybe you don't have the best interest in others. And here's an example, which is really funny, because I mean, I have a lot of Gemini in my chart, but I don't have Lilith. She doesn't sit anywhere in it. But I find myself, this body language aspect, that I can read people's body language, and maybe because I'm a little bit empathic too, I'm like, in a very short period of time, I just like, that person, don't trust them. Like, feel them out for yourself, but don't be vulnerable around that person. Don't give any information that you shouldn't give to that person. And there's been many times where I've tried to warn other people in situations a little similar, like just a caution. I have a real strong feeling about that person. So I feel like, because when you can pick up and you can read people's body language, you can know them pretty accurately. And you can know their intention, because people can be speaking words out of their mouth, which is what they want somebody to say, but their body is is like, no, you know, you're like, they could be like, I'm really glad to meet you, right? Like, that's a real obvious body language. The person is closed off and pulling back, you know, immediately. But it's the subtlety of body language that a lot of people won't pick up. Like, where do the eyes go when someone is trying to recall memory? Are they recalling, or are they trying to, like, looking down and trying to make something up? So people may like misinterpret you in terms of that as well, but they'll get burned. I don't think you're not accurate in this. Okay, an extremely raw and primal communication. Like you may just come out and just say it the way it is, and very like Queen of Swords sort of energy. And you mix that up with Lilith because she's a no bullshitter. She's, I don't even know, I want to almost put her zodiac as Gemini. It's really funny. And the fact that she came out in that, I really feel like she's air energy. Really primal and raw communication that can be misinterpreted, and often feel no one understands you, and afraid of rejection because it's just like nobody gets me kind of feeling. Now for specifically third house, but again, in this section with you guys, I would say you can overlap this, all of them, particularly if it feels like any of it's resonating. You can say something but do something else. So that's sort of like a lower vibrational quality that maybe something you struggle with, where you really could have a high principle about something, but it shows up in your life in an aspect where it's really difficult to actually physically do it. It feels like you might be sacrificing or jeopardizing yourself in some way to practice what you preach. If it's extremely low vibrational, you just could be an ass. You know, you could just tell people, you know what you should really do? You should do that. You wouldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't put myself, I wouldn't do that. Like, you know, that'd be really low vibration. I don't think I get a lot of that. A few of that at my channel. But it's more so, it's going to show up in your life. It's going to challenge you to live it. So that's a trick there. Drive to create community that hears you. So you may try to form your own communities. You may have some sort of a cause or an idea about something and try to bring people in with you. So here's the trick with this too, is when you bring people in the community under the like a similar or the same cause, they are likely not all going to see the same road to get to the end of that journey or reach that achievement in whatever this cause could be for you. So I feel like it can be important for you to really pick and choose who you're bringing into the community. And it's not to say that it's not warranted, because you're honestly really struggling in this life with people understanding you. But I guess the fault that you can run into with that is that you may push back when you get people coming in that are in favor of the same cause as you, but they see a completely different way of getting there. Like there could be, that's where you could have verbal conflict and problems. So by just inviting in who really does understand you, you are not necessarily finding the most holistic way of going about something. I mean, Lilith's talking about challenges here, so we're not coming into this reading saying this is all the easy stuff in life. This is really the stuff that we struggle with. So rejecting all the smaller conformities in life, this was interesting. So like some of the bigger conformities, yeah, you might have a 9-to-5 job or, but you know what, at nighttime you go home and you dress up like a witch, I don't know. Or when it's your off time, you are wearing spots with stripes. I don't know. There's like all the small conformities in your life. You guys could probably identify that. Say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's like your little rebellious streak in you. You can have sibling conflict because it is like third house issues here. Third, like siblings, community, communication. And then we have people who should be equal to you. And these are people who may have the same socioeconomic status as you. They may be in the same race, sex, gender, whatever that is. They may be in the same profession as you, but they tend to suck you dry. It's like, well, this isn't really equal. They tend to suck out from you. Like, this is a real struggle in this area, because the struggle is really to find those that understand you, right? So who would understand you but an equal? But then the equal will suck you dry. I'm telling you, these are not the easiest topics to deal with. And my hair's all wet because I had a shower. I got all sweaty at the bike park. I had a lot of fun though. It was good fun. It's nice when it's free, right? It's kind of fun. I was really proud of my son because he doesn't do a lot of bike riding. He's actually kind of lazy, to be honest. He's not athletic like me, although he does have a naturally athletic body. but he doesn't seem to want to use it. He's a little clumsy, but he probably does get that from me. Sorry, these cards just really get overly bent in the one direction. It bugs me. So while I'm bending them back, yeah, but he did so well. He wasn't really apprehensive at all. I was so proud of him, because it's like these kind of hills, it's all a cemented area that they've paved, and then they even have, like, we call them bowls, where you go in like that, and he was practicing the bowls, and so, wow, I'm really proud of him for doing that. He was brave. He was a brave little guy, although he's getting big. His feet are almost the same size as mine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I tell you, this is like the community. I'm just channeling Lilith is Gemini right now. That could be another thing too. You might just keep talking and talking and talking until somebody relates to something that you're saying. You may find yourself doing that at, like, social events or parties, perhaps, where you, oh my God, I know a few people like this that I've met. I wonder if they had Lilith and Gemini. Just talk until you kind of find something that you actually finally are interested in. But by then you're exhausted from this conversation. So I'm starting with my Oracle of the Radiant Sun deck. This is the other thing. So the last couple of days I've been sitting in the energy, preparing myself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for Lilith in Gemini and third house. I was hearing that, okay, to do this reading, she wants to talk about things or an issue that your spirit team, that your deeper self has been working through over and over and over again. So the way it was worded to me was something that they keep trying to help you with, and they're getting frustrated. So, of course, I'm trying to be nice about it, but that's kind of what it was. So let's see what that is. Something that your spirit team has been working with you on in this lifetime, and they're getting a little frustrated with you. I'm telling you, I got it right here. I got it right here. So this is where it's come from. This is sassy. Sassy. Okay. Lilith and Gemini, third house issues. Spirit team has been working with something. Oh my God. I can't even. Okay, two are face down and one is face up. It's Venus and Gemini. It's the flattery card. I don't know why this wants to come out like flatterly. Isn't that weird? Is that even a word? Flatterly. But it's flattery. Flattery. This is something that your spirit team wants to talk to you about. I think you're giving your power away too much, guys, because you're trying to find people that understand you. So it's almost like, yeah, flatter them up a little bit. Try to see if I can get this person a little bit, hey. That's so interesting. So this is how this is showing up for you. Now, the one thing that's really interesting about these Lilith readings too, is there's going to be sort of like a scale here, and see where you're sitting. As many of us move through life, hopefully, if we're healthy functioning adults, healthy functioning souls, managing our egos and back and forth, we are growing and developing. And some of these issues that I'm talking about, they may be things that you found earlier on in life that were a big struggle. Or you may find that you're still struggling. Like maybe you're just in a lifetime where it's all about hitting that up over and over and over and over and over again. It's no judgment, because it's just what you're meant to do in a lifetime. And others of you, this may give you a broader perspective on something that you've actually able to really overcome or not. See where this sits for you. Flattery is a big problem for you guys. I do think you find it difficult to take the flattery as well. What are these? Publicity and quarrel. Oh my geez. The group, finding the right group, finding the right community. I talked about right in the third house. Like almost wanting to develop your own group or your own community around something, because nobody gets me. Like maybe I can make a group that does. But you know, I think quarrel is a beneficial part in this, but it does feel like you want to try to avoid that because you're always up against quarrel. I don't know if you have problems saying words, because I'm having problems like actually speaking in this reading. I was going to say quarrelly and flatterly. This is such a weird energy. I wonder if some of you even suffer with some speech impediments. I didn't read that in, just researching it, but I'm really feeling that. Like some of you, maybe I'm starting to stutter. Maybe when you were young, you stuttered, or you had difficulty maybe with dyslexia, like letters could seem reversed or flipped or numbers. Wow. Almost like saying that cleared it out. Okay, that's an issue that some of you, if this is some of the things that you're dealing with in Lilith, in Gemini. Yeah, it feels very emotional. So, okay, when you're creating some sort of group, I feel like flattery is a tool for you. I don't feel like it's like being, like trying to schmooze people over in a really dark and kind of misleading way. It feels like to me, it's kind of a window of opportunity for you. It's almost like something that you've learned just through life. Okay, if I approach someone like this, you can flatter them and kind of see where it goes. Now, if you start to create connection through this and with this, there's definitely comes to a point though where this happens. So you're compromising yourself, and you might also early on notice certain things about a person. Maybe they have certain beliefs around politics or life or spirituality or whatever it is, and it's not at all in alignment with where you sit. But it seems like to you, well, it seems pretty important to this person, so I'll just let that go. But the problem is, it almost seems like there's a need, like you're surpassing the need to finally find someone that can understand you, that you can relate to, that they can relate to you. But it's really not, because there's certain issues here that, like, it's almost like a form of flattery, not just say, like, I don't want to say that it's, someone likes vanilla ice cream instead of chocolate. It could be something like really big for you. Maybe it could have something to do with healthcare, like public health care. It could have something to do with, I'm just hearing like really deep-seated politics, not like, left and right issues, but like some big stuff here where I feel like I get along with this person on every issue, but this one, I'm just going to like smooth this. Let's just change the subject like that in a way. And you don't have to have a debate with someone, but you can say, ooh, that one's hard for me to swallow. Maybe we should just like move past that conversation. Like still be open about how you feel about things, even if you think it may halt or end a relationship that's slowly kind of starting to develop here. So I do see that you're going to end up in this anyways. So why not meet it right away? Like any sort of quarrels with people. And then it actually does become more personal over a period of time, because you've kind of smoothed something over, swept it under the rug, and moving forward, you continue to develop a relationship with a person, and there's a sense of trust, there's a sense of understanding. And this person now has an impression that you believe a certain line here, because you never spoke out about something that was a pretty heavy topic, and you were, well, they didn't say anything about it, I guess I go along with it. So when something finally happens, or maybe they see you showing up to, I don't know, knitters club, they thought, oh, knitters, they're evil. Knitters, you can't trust knitters. I told them that, and why are they at a knitters club? I'm just trying to keep it not political here. So I like knitters. now it really becomes an intense conflict. Now, here's the other thing. I do find with publicity that you find yourself often somehow the center of attention. I don't know if when certain things break down for and around you in relationship, it happens in a public forum. Like, it could happen at a community meeting about, you know, what are we going to do with that vacant space over there? Some people want to build a park. Other people want to do a parking lot. And maybe that's where you hit this, I can't believe how long I've gone. I've such a zero. There's so much coming through in these oracle cards. That's the point where if there's someone that you kind of swept something under the rug with, it comes out there. And that's where it all comes out in the open, and it almost becomes like this public thing. And boy, does it make you just want to turtle and not go out again and trust anybody or talk about anything again, you know? Or it could be like a board meeting at work, and you're going to try to come up with some sort of plan about something. And yeah, it just like, I really feel like that this stuff happens to you in a public capacity, almost like it shames you. And you're like, this isn't right. Like, just don't get me. They don't understand. But it's not completely their fault. She's telling me that. She's telling me full on here. It's not completely their fault, because you should have made a point about talking about this right away when you started to get to know this person. That's fascinating. And two, I just feel like with Venus too. Venus is very peaceful and just trying to be peaceful. Knock down this little molehill before it becomes a mountain. That is really like, you could see that. I'm seeing that. What's at the bottom of this deck? Vision and submission and manipulation. Oh my God. Okay, so what I'm hearing here, right, this is all Lilith, is that this is how people, that whole scenario that I talked about, like meeting somebody new, kind of connecting with them, and already intentionally trying to find those that understand you. And this flattery issue. They bring something up, and you're like, ooh. But gosh, we get along on every other element here. Okay, I'm just not going to talk about that. And it's, like I said, you don't need to make a big argument out of it. It can be quite acceptable that they have their belief system on something and you have it over here on that. But just let them know up front that you don't agree with that. And there's likely no way that either one of you are going to change each other's minds, because you're living different lives and you've had different experiences. So let's focus on the other things that we find connection in, the other things that we can build upon as opposed to pulling each other apart with. So, but because that doesn't happen, and I figure, and this is what I'm getting, that this is how people, one of the major ways that people don't get you and how you feel like unseen and unheard is that, because they think they knew you. They thought, I knew that. I don't get them. I don't get them. So they thought they had a vision of you. They thought that they could see you clearly. But with this, it's kind of like they're feeling like you've put them in a cage, or you've like at least you've confined something for them, whether it's their beliefs that they had around you, or but it's not like nothing is ever all our fault or all someone else's fault. Like we all play a part in everything that we're all doing. And one of the most expansive things that any of us can really do is to always try to sit back and say, like, what part did I play in this? What part did I play in this? That can actually be one of the hardest things to discover in any sort of conflict, because we are instinctively programmed with our egos to believe that we did all the right things. But we all, if something didn't work out and it worked out in a really bad way, like this just feels bad. Like this is like a public quarrel. This is like really the last place you want this kind of shit to go down, because it's in front of everybody and you feel like you're being put on the spot and it's very uncomfortable and it's making you feel smaller than who you are. So I'm just saying, from the other side, to try to give you a perspective, it feels like you're trying to get this person, you're manipulating them through submission. Like trying to manipulate them through submission. That's what I'm going to say. So, interesting. I'm really hoping it's helping. I'm going doing all these Lilith readings. I'm just going to apply these to everything. So fascinating. So now, this deck, double deck. Let's pull out. I'm hearing 4 cards. All right, 4 cards, Lilith. What do you want to talk about with these guys? These guyses and galses and themses. Okay, thanks. I was just complaining it's so difficult to split. Just pull from the top. All right. Oh, you have the King of Swords. Very appropriate. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and the decks I'm using, I've combined the Heaven and Earth deck and the Murder of Crows deck. You have Earthly Power, which is like the 4 Pentacles. This came out for I think this came out for Aries. They had control issues. Go figure, right? Lilith and Aries. And then you have Strife, the 5 of Wands. The bottom is Judgment. This is a new day for you. I really feel like this is opening up some sort of perspective for you. Well, I hope it is. That's the intention of the reading. Duh. Okay. The King of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, Earthly Power, and Strife. It's so weird. I'm sitting here and I have a ceiling fan in the room. And it's spinning this way, but it looks like it's going that way in the reflection on these cards. And it's doing it right on the Wheel of Fortune. It's centered right here, but it's spinning in the wrong direction. And it's air energy, the fan. I'm sorry, I always do this. I kind of cover my mouth. I know that's actually really bad body language because it's supposed to show that someone's lying or hiding something. So I think with my fingers on my mouth. I feel like I'm body language. People are like, look at the way Cindy's doing now. The King of Swords. He's not saying anything. Why? I feel like this is you. I feel like you enter a room and you don't say shit until you've cased out the body language. Oh, this is so fascinating because I really do feel like though that you can be some of the people that go in there and you can talk up a storm. Once you find the right person, you can talk up the storm because you're almost trying to find something that you jive with this person on. But you come in and you don't divulge anything about yourself. I feel like you look for conflict. Am I getting this right? It kind of feels like you're looking for conflict. Why are you looking for conflict? Are you a button pusher? I mean, maybe. I mean, that could be part of your purpose here in this lifetime. Nobody likes it, but it's usually because it triggers something in them. So, okay, this is an interesting direction that this is going in. There's an aspect of you that Lilith really likes. It's the button pusher. Some of you have become very blunt. Very, very blunt. Like you've turned things around here. Was that in here at all? I don't know. About being very blunt. And you kind of like look for elements to push buttons here. If you're not the one doing it, I really feel like other people read your body language and they push your button to get something going here. Because these two cards are just so like stoic and quiet. This King of Swords isn't divulging anything. I was staring at the card and not a single thing was coming out. And all I could see was the whiteness in that sword. Like it was just like empty. It looked like it was empty, almost like it's been cut out of the page to me. Like it was removed. So the words, you're not sharing your thoughts, your thinking process. And then here, like really, really being like contained, holding in on yourself. I feel like you button push to push away. She likes the button pushing. Okay, I'm hearing that Lilith likes the button pushing as long as you're willing to take it here. The Five of Wands. Some sort of disagreement, some sort of conflict, because that's how resolutions occur. Conflict resolution. Yeah? But when conflict is never brought out into the open, it's always sitting underneath the surface and it's causing toxicity. So she likes it. She likes this about you when you do it right. What she doesn't like, I'm just hearing, who cares what you like? But she's a little bossy. So what isn't in alignment with resolving these hidden issues within yourself is when you allow other people to button push you because you're refusing to come out in the open, kind of for fear of being misunderstood. So you don't present anything. And then you have conflict, but now it's triggering you, but it's not trigger. Like there's something really odd. I've never received a message before that you have the capacity to trigger others in a healthy way, but you got to be healthy about it. And so here's what I'm seeing. This is healthy and this is unhealthy in this manner. Let's say that you're reading people's body language and you're also reading how they interact with other people. And you can see somebody who's walking around a room and they are engaging with others, and just right away you're like, that person has such a political agenda, and they're like, you can identify that they're manipulating. They're kind of manipulating people. They're using some of your tactics, and that might be why you can see it. But you can see right away that they're not using those tactics because they're trying to sort of self-protect. They're using those tactics because they have an outside agenda that goes way beyond whatever's taking place in the room or the meeting or the group or whatever it is. And you know exactly how to take that person down. So they make their way to you. And I don't know what the thing is that they're saying to other people or what their political agenda is, their agenda in general. But so they kind of use it with you, and you just like, you know exactly what to say and how to say it, and it just knocks this person right down and it gets their defenses up. And do you know what it does? It shows the entire room who they really are. Like you just brought that out in that person, and it showed the whole room who they were. Everyone else didn't see it, but you knew exactly the right thing to say. Lilith likes that. She likes that because that's healthy. That's like bringing something out, and it's actually kind of reversing how things happen to you. You're bringing this out in a public display because it's important, because this person is going to affect a whole bunch of people, and perhaps like have a completely false agenda. Like maybe this person does want to be a politician, but they're making it sound like they have the best interest involved for everyone who has an 8-year-old kid and needs a play structure, you know, every 2 kilometers in the neighborhood. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to do that for you. But what they really want to do is just get in there and, you know, just work for so long so that they can have, what is that? Their, what's that called? You've been in politics for a certain period of time, you get your pension. Like regardless of how if you got kicked out or fired or gone to jail, you still get your pension even if you only work 2 years. Like you can just see it in this person, and you do that. That's good. That's good shit. Now, what's not good is that when you do have good intentions here, but I also feel like it's a bit of turtling. Like it's almost like if that person that we just talked about, in the healthy way that you can manage this, you call them out right away, and it just like, what? I wouldn't do that. Like everybody knows, wow, that person is an asshole. I don't think I'm going to work with them. That's good. But if that person comes up to you and you're refusing to talk, you're just not opening up because they just know this person is just not. And then they start getting to you, and you're the one that blows up. Well, now you look like the asshole. And it really wasn't, because, well, they're the one who's really not having everyone's higher good. They don't have their interest in that. They just got their own interest. But you allowed the dark energy to kind of like snowplow you. Is that the word? Like snowplow you, roll over you, That's what Lilith doesn't like here. When you let that energy do that to you. Conflict resolution is something that you're real good at. But you have to be the one who's resolving it. You can't be the one that is like coming at you. Did I look at the book? Oh yeah, I did. It was judgment. It was judgment. This is such a fascinating read. Oh yeah, so there's an extent. God, I didn't even say that at the beginning. So yeah, there's extended. If you've been here this long, well, like you've been here this long, then maybe it's resonating with you. So there's going to be an extended, and I've left them completely open as to what I'm going to do in them. And I feel that it's funny. I won't get a shift or a change or an indication about what I'm going to do until I turn the camera off and I get ready to do it. It's almost like the energy changes. I can tell because it's just like a smaller group of people that are coming in. So I'm going to go. This was really interesting. I'm going to go and do the extended. It could be completely different messages. Like I'll just tell you right now, or I could be asked to develop off of this even more. I don't know. I leave it up to her. She's the boss in these, and it's easier not to fight with her. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you so much, Lilith and Gemini. Lilith in the third house. That was a fascinating reading. It really was. I look forward to seeing the comments and like how this feels for you, you know. Thank you so much, my friends. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.